Okie dokie. All right, good morning everybody. Welcome to the Scrutiny Management Panel. I'm Councillor Tom Wood. I'm the chair of this panel. We've just got some housekeeping stuff to go through. If the continuous fire alarm sounds, please evacuate the room by the stairwells. Do not attempt to use the lifts. Please assemble at the Queen Victoria statue in front of the civic offices. In order to comply with the Portsmouth Cultural Trust fire marshal regulations, if you signed into the Guildhall, please remember to sign out when you leave the building after the meeting. Can I draw everyone's attention to the fact that the meeting will be live streamed from a camera at a fixed location at the back of the room. The recording will be on the council's website. The camera will mainly capture the backs of anyone making deputations, which doesn't look like anybody today, and there will be some footage of them as they approach and leave the table. Members of the public are permitted to record the meeting on the understanding that it neither disrupts the meeting nor records those who explicitly state they do not wish to be recorded. Can I ask everyone to use the microphones when they're speaking? And it says, should we introduce ourselves? But I think since it's just us and we all know each other, I'm going to just say, we're just going to waive that this time. It's lovely to see you all again. So let's get started. I have had apologies for absence from Councillor Hugh Mason, George Fielding, Ian Lyon and Simon Bosher. Do we have any declarations of interest? Excellent. So, minutes of the previous meeting. Because we don't do minutes at call-ins, we have 3 sets of minutes to go through. So, if we start off with the first one, I will quickly zip through these. Page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. We're all happy with that one. Excellent. And the second one, which was the first call-in that we had this year, page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That was a long one, as I remember. We all happy with that? Excellent. And then the second call-in of the year, page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Excellent, and we're happy with them as well. Excellent. That brings us on to the substance of today's meeting, the updates and suggested topics for review of the themed scrutiny panels. So if we start off with the Housing and Social Care Scrutiny Panel, they finished their review and have sent us 2 topics that they would like to consider. Councillor Stubbs wanted to be here to give a deputation explaining the topics that he'd chosen, but unfortunately he wasn't able to make it. So members should have an email that he sent on explaining why they've chosen those topics. Have you had a chance to look through that, or do you want a second to glance at it?
2 minutes.
No problem, just give everyone a second to read through it.
Well, I'd like to go on this.
Your one. Happy with that? Excellent. So they've proposed 2 topics so that they can have a pipeline. They'll finish the first one and then go straight on to the second one. Leo, you're on that panel. Do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I did. I just want to say that, I've been working with Councillor Stubbs on this anyway. So, we've been having meetings with officers to try to come up with the topics, which and we can forward those to. I think part of the problem we have, and probably other scrutiny panels have as well, is the timing, or trying to get these done within a municipal year, if I can put it that way. And what we want to do, we had one 2 years back, which hasn't seen the light of day because the Housing Act or a Housing White Paper was due to come in, and that never appeared. So there's one sitting on the shelf somewhere. And then this one, because the changeover of administration in May meant that the previous chair of this became a cabinet member and therefore couldn't continue it, and it took a while. And I actually don't know if that's gone to cabinet yet, the previous one. So what we were looking to do was to get one that we could finish now before Perda, And that's the problem, is it? We have the annual meeting in May. It takes a while to settle down, and then we've got 6 weeks towards the end of the year where we can't do anything because of PERDA. So within that time frame, I think what we were also looking to do, I've just made this suggestion, is for this panel to meet as early as it can in the year after the election, after the annual meeting, in order to review what's happening with the panels and see where they're going to go forward in that. So what we wanted to do was to come up with some topics that we could finish before PERDA this year. And then continue, rather than sit in limbo for a while, then continue another one. And that's why we've come up with these two topics. I suppose the quickest one would be Leamington and Horatio, in the sense that that's been done, and there's lessons to be learned, and then there's a paper available if it happens with other authorities that might want to look into what happened, how we did it, where the problems were, that type thing. So I suppose that's the one I would recommend that we start with, and Horatio and Leamington.
I think what Councillor Stubbs has put forward is starting with the review of provision of temporary accommodation and then moving on to the review.
Well, okay,
I wonder if he's doing the shorter one second, because
No. I think both of them might be short-ish in that sense. We were hoping to have met before now, but we haven't. But I think there's a meeting next Monday of this panel. I think so. Whatever. I mean, I think both of them should be short-ish, and then if we could pick up another, or that panel should pick up a topic next year, that would be fine. So yeah, we could do them in that order. Is that okay? So I'd recommend we do that.
Just so you can clarify, Leo, are you saying that we do Leamington first and just reverse it?
I think we looked for ones that might be done quickly, and obviously Luke has looked at them and thinks perhaps that the homeless one might be done quickly, or if not, we'll have to stop for PERDA as everybody else will, and then carry it on, but hopefully finish it fairly soon within the next year, rather than have to come back to this committee. So I'll leave it. I'm not sure if it Luke is, but I'll leave it up to you.
I just have a theory on this, because I know how quick things work in the public sector compared to the private sector, and this has taken a lot of time to get the first meeting for this actual panel this year. So in all honesty, I think if we went for the second topic first as a shorter review, then we can actually go into the other topics later. I just think that would be easier, being realistic that we're now in February, going into we're going to be into February going into March.
May I? The panel has actually met with the officers included, and the officers are all geared up for the first review, the one that they've been asked to do for the Homelessness Reduction Act. Obviously, if you'd prefer them to do in the other order, we can reschedule.
I'm just sceptical about the time that we have left, and if Luke's saying that's a short review of the second one, I think it would be sensible to go for the second one. But it's up to you. It's in your gift, Chair.
Well, no, I mean, this is for
I'm
all
just
of
putting
us.
that suggestion over.
This is for all of us to decide collectively. I think Luke asked to do the temporary accommodation first, and then do the...
I'm just looking at the time, that was all, Chair. I'm just mindful that we're nearly, we're probably, 6-7 weeks away from being into PERDA?
My feeling is probably I would go with what the chair of the panel suggested, but I'm fairly... do we have to, as it were, suggest an order? Because we have to approve the topics. We could agree both of them and allow Luke to do stuff as and when it's ready. Would that give us more flexibility to work with time restrictions?
I believe, Chair, that it is down to this committee to decide what the topic is, but not the time frame. So obviously they can decide what they want to do first. So if Luke wants to, that's my experience of sitting in your position, Chair. So that's what I'm saying. My experience would be this: fundamentally, if they want to go, if we approve these two, we can probably ask them to do the order, but generally down to them.
That would seem very sensible to me as well then. Are there any more comments then on the Housing and Social Care Scrutiny panel? Excellent. Okay then, if we could just quickly vote on that then, in favour of giving those two topics as suggested by the Chair to the Housing Scrutiny panel. In favour? Excellent. Thank you very much. Right. Education, Children and Young Persons panel. They finished their previous review in December 2018. And they have suggested one topic, a review into children with disabilities, to focus particularly on out-of-city placements How effective are our commissioning arrangements? Are we getting the right provision and good value? And are the contributions from education, social care and health appropriate? And use of beachside, how responsive is the short breaks respite care provision? And how helpful is it to parents of children with disability? Members, any comments?
No, I just agree with it, to be honest, Chair. I think it's a good topic. I think it's a really sensible topic to look at.
I also agree. I think it's perfectly sensible. Very well then. Should we vote on that then? The topic for education, children and young people scrutiny panel in favour? Excellent. And then the remaining two panels, and this is I think partly why we haven't met until this point in the year, is the other two panels have not yet finished their reviews. Obviously education, children and young people have only just finished theirs. So because scrutiny panels have had particularly meaty topics for the last year that have all run into this municipal year, there hasn't been many topics for us to allocate. So Education, Development, Culture and Leisure, which I happen to be on, is continuing its review of the International Port, which was started in last municipal year. I know that we're very, very near to the conclusion with that. I think we'll probably only have a couple more meetings and we should be done fairly quickly with that. And then we will come back again to assign a new topic with that. But we've got a progress report from the chair there. Are there any questions or comments members have on that?
Only to echo what you said, really, Chair. To be honest, that one is quite a meaty topic, and I'm partially to blame for that because I approved it. So it's a very meaty topic. I think it's. I think we've probably got another 2 meetings on it, if I'm honest, because obviously a lot of it's surrounding what's happening with Brexit and the implications of Brexit. So I think we need to obviously just note the update. What I probably would like is if the chair could have attended, that would have been quite nice to give an update or send something in, because obviously the chair is having regular meetings with other people and that we aren't.
I'm sure we could ask George if our next meeting is not just before it's about to come in, if he could come along. Okay. We don't have to approve that, we just have to note that update. And then lastly, Transport, Environment and Community Safety Scrutiny Panel, which is reviewing general parking issues in Portsmouth, which is the never-ending story of reviews. That is a really heavy topic that's been going on for some time, and there's been a lot of challenges with that review, and that is continuing, and that is also though moving on towards its conclusion and should, I think, be done within the next month or so. I think Councillor Bosher is very, very nearly ready with that. There was a particular issue that was beyond the council's control that really dragged that one out. But questions, members, comments? Leo?
Sorry, just on this one. This was set up, I think, in 2015, the year I was off the council, and it just seemed to be an inordinate time. 16.
Yes.
It seems to be an inordinate time. I mean, we're now moving in nearly 3 years into this, and for something where political parties have taken their own views on it anyway as to what they want to do with, say, residence parking or whatever. So I do hope that this report will be concluded soon. But I still, and then this panel presumably will disappear because it was set up specifically, I think, just to deal with this.
No, it is Transport, Environment, Community Safety. It's a regular panel. They just chose parking in 2016. It was always intended to be a long review. When it was set up, they asked for 2 years to complete because they knew that there was no way something that heavy was going to be done quickly. I know obviously there's a lot of politics going around parking. The committee has generally been quite good at trying to stay away from just refighting the political fights that we fight in the chamber and look at ways of doing parking more efficiently, whichever side of kind of the ideological divide you come onto. And I think that they've been quite good at that. And they've suffered over that 2 years, unfortunately. We've had quite a high turnover of chairs because people have moved on, lost their seats and things, which happens. And then there was, as I say, a particular issue to do with parking permits for halls of residence that we just needed a response to, and that involved the university, and that took quite a long time. But we talked about that in the last meeting, if members want to look over that for some of the details on it. But it is finally getting near to the conclusion. I think Simon wants to wrap that up as soon as possible.
I was under the impression, Chair, that would be ready very, very much in like the near future. I think it'd be definitely ready before Purda.
Oh yeah, I would have thought so. Yeah. absolutely. Yeah. Any other questions or anything on that? Excellent. Right. That's the last update that I've got then. The date of the next meeting it's next week. Yes, on Friday, which is our regular review of the budget. I'm away then, so Councillor Madden will be chairing. But I hope we'll all be
I hope
there.
there's a bigger turnout than there is today, quite frankly.
Does that mean Councillor Madden's doing double duty on Friday for chairing two committees?
One's in the morning, one's in the afternoon.
Yeah, we had the
Well, I hope so.
drama with the diaries. Right,
Okay, well
I-
done, Tom.
I think that's everything. I didn't have to bang my head on the table once.
No, not this time.
Yes, we're done. Thank you very much.